All right. Let's see. Angel. Angel. Anthony. And Hannah. Hannah. Sierra. Ryan. Josh. Cameron. Did you get it?
No, I gave up.
Did you look back at how we did the cars?
Well, no, I was looking at that last night, but I don't know. I tried like all different things and it didn't work. But
You're missing quotations around the individual values.
okay.
That should work.
Okay.
Kindle?
Here.
Is that you? Trish. Trish. Okay. All right, so we left off. Homework's posted. Hopefully it's okay. If you get errors, you can email me. I think for these first couple errors, I might direct you to what part of the lecture is similar. So you kind of go back and you just have to think. It's a different type of question. I mean, it's the same question. It's just using different type of data. All right. So what we're going to do is continue because we have a couple other things we have to address. So this is where we left off, the making the table and the histogram. So the table, or actually this, data roaches. So data roach, you're going to get it in, and I'm just continuing with the RMD file. So you have a table that looks something like this. It's how you read it in. All right. So we have that. And now what we want to do is do our table. Our table, again, it's an object. That's what we have to give it. But the object is either going to be a list or a vector. Right? Now, the vector, when you make a table, is probably going to be some sort of text vector, but it could be numbers, could be counts. All right, we'll see it. We'll try it a couple times throughout the course with continuous variables, just to kind of demonstrate when you do it wrong. But our vector is species. That's what we're looking for, and that vector is within our data frame, data.lake. So we have to use our $ notation here to tell R exactly where that vector of species is, so that it creates a frequency table. So it says we had 6 lakes where bass is the top predator, 2 lakes where crappies are top predator, 4 lakes where pike is our top predator. The histogram function works similarly. All right, it needs a vector, but in this case it needs a numeric vector. We can't pass it like that vector of species. It's not going to work. All right, so our histogram needs a vector of numeric data, and I tell you that we want to make a histogram of the difference between our left and right lengths, wing lengths. So the first thing I'm going to do is make our difference. That's what we're making. All right. So we're creating an object. So we called it difference. We created the object. That's with our arrow. And what we can do is just subtract. Pass an equation, a math equation, right to that object. And the equation that we want is the left wing length minus the right wing length. Or you can do right versus left. It doesn't matter what order. But those objects are found within our data frame, data.roach. So in order to access those vectors, we have to use data.roach $left minus data.roach $right. Once we do that, then we get our vector of differences, and then we can pass it the histogram function. So hist, and then that difference, and we get a figure that looks something like this. practice. All right? We're going to learn more about tables, more about histograms, I think later this week. We'll see how the knitting goes. It may be into next week. All right. So now at this point we're done practicing our import, checking our import, making sure it works. Now what we want to do is create our Word file. All right? And we do this using a knit function. Or a knit function. Knitting is basically knitting text portions of the document and the code execution portions of the document together into a single Word document. That's kind of the conceptual idea for the knitting. All right. What we need to do is get over here, is utilize this knit dropdown. And what we'll do is knit to Word. We would click that, and then it starts a process of knitting and creating the Word document. And usually, mine always opens up the document when it's done, if it works. But we don't know if it's going to work yet because we need to make sure we have a couple things in place. So first up, I've saved this, our data import practice. So if I do save as to make sure I have it saved in my biostats folder, R markdown folder. So it's in the markdown, which is in the R folder, which is in my biostats or biometry. So it's there. I know where it is. Here, what did I call it? R data import practice. R data import practice. There it is. All right. The other thing that I need to check, I need to make sure my Word template file is in that same location. All right. I need to make sure that it is in the same location, and it is. And note that here in this window, I can see that's my file that I'm working on. That's the RMD file. Here's the Word template, and it's actually this Word template. That's it. Here in Windows, it hides the extension. It hides the .docx extension, but it's there. If you downloaded it a second time and saved it there, it might save it as Word template and then put 1 in parentheses. That's going to be different. We need this file, Word template, exactly this way of stating it. Word template with a capital W, capital T, no space. In that same folder, because when we knit it, it's going to look for that file in the location where we saved this RMD file. So they need to be in the same folder. And then if they are, I'm just going to make sure that you have everything. So this is September 1, 2021. Get my date. You can do your name if you want. I have it named. And then I'm going to hit the knit function and do knit to Word. I'm going to click it. And then I get an error. No package called rleg. Did you guys getting? What's yours say?
Scanner error was getting included scalar at line 3, column 7, unexpected string at line 7, column 24.
All right, yours is going to be a little bit different. Did anyone get this error? This is error in load namespace. Ultimately, there is no package called rlang. I am going to click install and see if I can find it. Find it and try to install it. I don't know why. It's not there, but it didn't work for me. All right, so let me try it one more time and see if this will work. Knit to Word. Processing file. It runs through the codes. Each chunk one at a time, executes it, has an output file, And then, if it works, I get an R document or a Word document that looks something like this. Now, we have, let's go through errors. You have an error, right? All right, let's see your error. And scroll all the way up to line 3. Close it. Close quotes. And author probably needs to be closed in quotes too. Save it. If you've already had it saved, yep, hit the word. There it is. All right, what's that? All right. Check the line 35. All right, so yours might be different, but if it fails, it usually gives a description of why it failed. This one's line, it says line 35. So what you can do is go check out line 35. All right. And I know what this is. So line 35, it says error in table, object data.lake not found. All right. So let me scroll to mine. We imported data.lake. And we imported data.roach. Move this over. When we used the import dataset function, remember, we had that line that appears in the console window. We had to copy and paste it into our chunk. Yours isn't there. So, if you don't have chunks that are reading in your data, what you need to do is go through the import dataset. So I'm going to go back to import. Data, what data is this? Data.lake. I'm going to do data.lake, import it, strings as factors, hit OK. I've got the name correct. I import it so that I can get this code. I highlight it, copy it, and then paste it into my document. And you're going to need one for each because, again, when we knit it, R wipes out its memory and starts fresh. So you have to have a line in your document that reads in your data. You have to have lines that read in your data. You will also need to have lines that load any packages. That'll become important for the homework. All right, and then once you get those lines in there, save your document, and then try to knit it again. What's yours? Yes. File, save as. You don't have a word template though. Okay. Okay. Well, which one is this? Okay, so this one isn't, you didn't open this one. This isn't the file that you opened here. How about we see this?
No, you don't need to open this. That one's the last document that you'll get. So it looks. I don't even know. It's just a form. Hey, close out there.
Okay. So now the word template file is there. Now it should work. Because it gets to this spot, and then it converts returns this at this spot to a Word
Go to
document.
your console.
And when it does it, it tries to grab the template file at that point. Basically, it takes the template file and pastes it in there, so all the headings are correct.
So if you scroll up there, it'll tell you.
Yeah, so then you can save a file someplace. I don't know why. Oh, maybe that's on your network drive. I don't
So
know.
you have to go back and upload everything. Did you get it? For the.
All right.
Because the one that we're trying to do is the, like, it's the basics of our.
Line.
Oh, like. Were you able to knit it? Did it do anything? No. Try knitting this one. So go to knit for this one. Go to your console. Here's your data import folder. Just or did you all do that all in one? You gave us a document that was for, it was separate from the other stuff.
Oh, is this?
It's what we were supposed to listen. You can probably get it over very quickly. It's just the bottom part of what you did in that previous document. So do that and then try to knit this document.
Are we doing the data document?
Yeah. So like you have to go to the other one and call it.
You did the import data, right? You put it in
The tables. So you just have to call each. So it knows where to find it. And then you make your tables.
Let me look that up. Here are T. That's the every issue.
What you're having with your other one is that not everything is loaded. Like you have to
R,
through everything,
our studio.
which is giving me trouble. Because it won't knit the document out unless everything works out.
Oh, okay, so it's from.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. And you can get the other document, and it's just, everything has to come through, you can't get any errors.
Oh, hold on. What did you see that file? Yeah.
This one's a histogram, so you have to change the titles.
See this data.csv?
And you wanted the difference between which you can do two ways. You can create the difference object, which is where you can just type in data which
It doesn't say, it didn't give a file, just gave a location. And track. now we're at line 24. So R and then hit save.
So we're gonna go on that one part and then just
All right. Here's the other next thing. This will go away. So we did file save as. Here's your file. You don't have your Word template in this document. So you need to get here. So you know where it is.
So go back to your and go to your console and scroll up.
We already have them.
All of those
Not
is
in there.
not able to find.
Like save
Everything
it.
I've got on the Blackboard.
So save. Go to Blackboard. Have Word template. Save it.
All like things I haven't run it since we made it, so it's not loaded in the environment.
Alright.
So yeah, then swipe.
Yep. Okay, so. Save as. See where we're at. You save it here. Where's our Word template? Do you have your Word template file? So you go to Blackboard. Save as. That's where you see your file. So change that to save that.
Yeah.
Because that's the error, is that it's looking for that Word template file and you can't find it. So, here it is. Alright, so we had a couple similar errors. Let me reproduce one. Alright, let me try to knit this again so that we can reproduce an error. So I'm knitting my document, works, and then I get this error. Word template.docx, open binary file, does not exist. This tells me that this file does not exist in the folder where this is located. I went ahead and, on those computers, I did the save as, because if we open it, it automatically opens that location. So I went to the save as location. Here's my folder, or here's my R document. I don't have a Word template document. It's not in there. So what I have to do is get that Word template document over to that location. The Word template document is on Blackboard. Get this to Blackboard. I've got my, let's see, lecture presentations. I've got the Word template. So I right-click that, save the link as, and then I put it in my Markdown folder. Now, I can't just hit save because this is now the second time that I've downloaded Word template, and the computer is going to try to add a 1 after it. I don't want that. It needs to be Word template, just like that. So I'm going to hit save. It saves it to that location. I'm going to go back. I can check it, save as. Here's my file that I'm working on. There's a Word template file. It's good. When I hit knit, it'll work and it'll open up a new Word document. I moved it over here, so I get this. And this is what they're going to look like. They're going to have our title. They're going to have your name, the date, And then we've used the appropriate headers. We've used the appropriate pound signs to add these headers to make it the document easier to read. All right, I am going to go help in the back. Now, the other one that we have was this basics of R. So we just finished like the practice part where we worked with it as a class. We also have the basics of R, which was that document that we started and we were taking notes on how to do everything. We made a markdown document out of it. What I want you to go ahead and do is to use this document, knit it, and see if you can get the Word document. All right. Different document. We've been working at it at a different time. Let's try to knit it. Let's try to get a Word document out of it. See if we can do it. All right. What do you guys got? Yours? Yours? Oh yeah. It goes down the line, so if you've got multiple chunks of errors, it's going to stop at one. You're like, okay, I fix it. Another error. Frustrating. Yeah, so that error is saying a difference wasn't created properly. So you have data.roach. Right. Save that and try to knit it. Yep. See what you guys saying. And then if not, then we will investigate. Yep, so we need capitalized because he couldn't find it, so difference is basically a null variable, or it's an empty vector, and histogram won't work with it. I think your word template isn't.
I think it's already saved in the document.
Download the word template. So there's a big part of this is it's kind of why we set up our folders, so that way we should only have to save the word template once, and then after that, as long as we save our RMD in that same folder, everything should work appropriately. Okay. So can't find a new issue. Does this knit? Oh, yeah. So where did you save it? Oh, no. We're using this. Alright, so where did you save this file? We don't have a word template file in here. That word template.x file, that's not here. We need it here. No, we need the word template.x. It's on file right now. It should work this time. Okay. Yeah. You're not going to be the only one to remind me. I probably glossed over it, but I'll remind it.
Sorry, I tried to upload the knit for the basics of R&D, and what is this?
what's the new location? You may have changed it. It's kind of a generic message that says it's not finding a file.
Congratulations, you got picked the first class.
Downloading this. So cancer can't find it. Right? So we had to load it. Vectors, data. So women there it is. So we had to first load it using this, and then so what it did was to try to access data. It's like, or cancer doesn't know what it is, can't find it. So this is how we kind of loaded that without actually loading the package. All right, what do you have? Okay, this is, it can't find the file. So 142 is up here. My guess is you changed the location. All right, so go ahead and reopen this using this, and then copy and paste that location.
No, that's fine. All of it is, yeah. Try running that up.
Instead of just getting the,
Go back to it. So data points work, right?
I was sitting there messing around with it, trying to figure it out. Yep, that's facing.
Stupid thing, right? Oh, it'll drive you nuts too, because there's something about the end line, like when you hit enter to get a new line, I think it needs a space,
Yeah, that's what I.
or else it'll run on. You'll see some of my keys that it runs it on, and it's like, I don't know what to do. What's that?
Save it wherever the file is.
I don't know about that yet. I mean, I had it in there at some point, it's the same thing.
Yep.
But now it's just that.
Oh, okay. Wait, never mind. I don't think that's the problem.
Once you do that,
Go up to, scroll up to the very top.
So let's save that.
oh,
Spaces.
Yeah.
It should be fine too. Because it sounds like someone's
A little bit, my dad is crazy. We have an 8-inch block.
I think somehow it locked it. So in that, wherever we had it, you don't have your record template in that.
okay.
It's in the same file. It should run.
Okay. Go to this PC, and you have to go through this way. You have to click on that. Okay. And then where is it? Yeah,
You did.
Is that what you called it? So now it should work. So then copy that line and paste it
Now,
down.
I mean, it's in the same, so I go here, classmates.
No, that has a one after that. So right click it, rename it, take off this. And now hit save. Now, well, yeah, you can cancel. We renamed it now. We didn't really do it. So now, and it'll find the file.
Okay.
All right, other questions? So, we're gonna have these first couple weeks as we do this. I'm sure we're gonna have issues. We're gonna get errors with the import, almost guaranteed. All right, could be spelling, could be excess space, could be not closing a parentheses. It could be something like we just had, opening up the file and having a wrong location, because for some reason these computers don't allow us to use the shortcuts, the quick access. I don't get it. I don't understand why that's the case. All right, so we're going to get errors like that. We're going to get errors where you try to access one of these packages, or one of these data sets, but it wasn't loaded first. All right, let me open up a different presentation, because I have a feeling that I may have just glossed over it. Maybe I didn't gloss over it. 'Cause I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Right at the beginning. This was. So some of our homework included has a situation where we're going to access a package. And the cart package, we're going to use that throughout the course. But when we knit the document, when we knit the R document, it clears everything from memory, including the packages. If we loaded the packages by clicking the check boxes, all right, we need that code in our markdown document too. So here on this very first slide, I mentioned how to load a package. And that is library and then the package name. All right, that's going to have to appear in your markdown document anytime we load a package. And that is the code that R uses when we check the box. So I click on car, and now it gives me a message that there is no package called Rio for some reason. So let me install Rio. But you can see that the function was, oh man, it went too fast. It was library car. Now this gave us a little bit more information. Let's finish this. All right. So when I hit car, I'm going to have to update that too. Jeez. So it looks like car has still failed to load. I don't know what the heck's going on with this computer. Okay. Let's undo. Let me try to reinstall car. Try to get it. Yep. You got a problem? Okay. Let's check it. As I'm trying to reload packages because for some reason I can't get it loaded. Pretty much. you working? Yep, that'd be fine. So we did. I guess we didn't catch that. Save it. Well, I would save it. No, it doesn't matter. So anytime it returns an error, it's gonna fail. So you should probably save it.
My sophomore year, we actually did have a small electrical fire in my hallway, in the bathroom vent fan. So everybody was saying, oh, we need a shower when we get back upstairs. And the guys were saying, okay, you guys lock the room, make sure you touch the house. This was really
Word shoot.
yeah, and eventually word got around the hall. No, it was the fan, the bottom of the fan.
Okay.
Something in the wiring started to smolder. No, it automatically set it off. Nobody used it. Nobody did anything to set it off. They were running the bathroom fan. And, yep. Well, it wasn't even on fire. It was, yeah. Well, they're like, there's not that much fire.
Yes.
But
Here's the computer stuff. I don't know what the issue is. All right, so we're gonna be wrapping it up. When we upload, we're gonna have this Word file. Open this up, and what we need to do is upload it as a PDF. All right, the PDF will help fix any of the formats, and definitely check the pages. So like this is just 2 pages. That's great. If you do your exam and you have 200 pages, maybe you don't need to view your data file. All right, import it and that's it. You already know it works. All right, but what we would do is do file and then export, and there should be a PDF option. So even at my home computer, when I downloaded Windows Word, when I downloaded MS Office to it, it came with the default PDF exporter. So you create the PDF or export it to a PDF, and you can save it in the same markdown document. You can save it wherever, but that's going to be the PDF that you upload. All right? So you can try to create the PDF. And now we've kind of created it. Hopefully it's worked. You kind of see some of those. You got the homework. All right? That's going to be our check to see if you can do it on your own. So if you're running into errors getting it knitted, bring those questions on Friday and we'll try to address it. We'll see if we can figure out what's going on. And then you could upload it, the PDF, once we get it knitted and everything. To help you though, other than these first couple assignments, where I'm telling you do this, do that. So data lake, I have that homework file here. So you can see how it's like, okay, make this vector, call it something. Question 2, right? I say, read it in, import it here. I want to see the code. I want you to demonstrate that you can actually do that. That's on these first couple ones, and the exam will likely do the same thing. But once we get past this point, what I generally do, and I'll show you one of these. Let's see. Here's 9.5. Here's a homework. Frustrations. Go this way. And I hope that I have this here so you can see it. What I typically do, and I don't, this is one question, is have a chunk up here that's called load the data sets. So all the data sets that are used in the homework or on the exam are all loaded in one chunk. And then I have a required libraries section. So any libraries that we use, so like the car package or the vegan package or any other package, you just put this here right at the top. So all the data sets get loaded right at the beginning, all the libraries get loaded right at the beginning, and then for us, we will also have a loading functions. So we'll make our own functions. You have the scripts for those functions. So it'll be another chunk where you can just get all your functions loaded all in one spot, kind of like the introduction part. We do everything at the beginning, so then when we get to the questions, I'll say you're going to use the question 1 data set. Or you're going to use the question 2 data set. And in theory, then, it should already be loaded. You can just go ahead and reference it. All right? All right. We're done for the day. It's a lot of troubleshooting. I do expect to troubleshoot more on Friday and probably a couple more times, especially earlier on in the course. Yep.
So I was wondering, is there a way that you can save it to a flash drive? Or just
Yes.
Okay.
Good question. So somebody had asked, how do I go about how do I go about moving it between computers? And I was using Dropbox. My recommendation is that you can also use a thumb drive. All right. The only catch with a thumb drive is you have to change what the location is. So the thumb drive on this computer might be the D drive, but on another computer it might be the E drive. All right. But you can have your thumb drive. You could have your folder set up on your thumb drive. Save everything here on these computers, and then when you get home on your own computer, plug in the thumb drive. Everything's there. It all works. So a thumb drive is definitely a possibility. If you need thumb drives, Best Buy actually has really good prices on it. What did I buy? I bought a 64 gigabyte thumb drive for like $8. All right. Yeah. Be careful of the free ones. The free ones are more likely to get damaged if you don't use the eject USB drive. So, yeah, I'd get a couple. I think they had a $4 one for like 16 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes. That's all you need. We're not we don't. Our file sizes aren't very big at all. So you can also do that. All right. All right. Don't forget about that homework. If you have errors, go ahead and email me. And if you have errors knitting it, bring those to class on Friday, and we'll get them solved. Yes.
There's